Besnik, I am Lude, and we are here to talk about crypto and everything around crypto. Basically, I am the guy that has not so much clue. I heard about crypto, and I used to listen to podcasts around crypto. But I got my colleague here, Besnik. He knows shit, and he is the guy that used to mine when we used to live together as roommates. And not just mining, but you were mining in your own bedroom, and with all this shit, crazy noise, man. Noise. We were like, what are you doing, man? We were judging you and probably bullying you a little bit.
Yes.
Were you doing all that shit? I'm like, what the hell is this? And then I heard the podcast, and I'm like, okay, I know what you're doing. But people don't mine anymore. But people do different stuff. People start their own coins, and you're Nick in Noshit Coin.
Yeah, that's how they know me, with Nick.
Yeah, Nick. So you're Nick, and we got a very special guest.
We
Big
have
hand of applause.
Captain.
The captain is here. Welcome, Captain. Welcome. It's a pleasure to have you.
It's a pleasure to be here. I'm glad we finally started this podcast because we were talking. I think since Nick joined Noshit, he was insisting that we should go forward with podcasts, and we were been planning. Once we agreed even with Lul to start this podcast, but then things went south. Market crashed. We had to change offices.
Shit happened.
Yeah, a lot of shit happened. Happened.
Yeah.
So now we finally started, and I'm quite happy, and I hope that this will go on, for a long time, and maybe people can get information, can get some humble education, not just from us, but the idea is to grow the community and to make the platform where we can help each other.
Yeah, man, this is exciting. I kind of wanted. I don't know. People probably know you two guys in the community. They don't really know me, but I am an actor, and I do also other stuff. I was not so much involved in the crypto world, but I started hearing from Besnik a lot earlier
Until I pushed you to get in.
Yeah, you kind of pushed me.
I actually
and then
remember once, when I was dealing with coin.
We used to buy some coin. I don't remember what we had before. We probably still do.
I'm trying to remember.
That's one of those coins that...
It's one of the coins that it has 8 zeros. I'm not sure if it still died or not.
My thing was I know Dritro is a film director, and everybody's talking, Dritro is like a special guy, intelligent, and he's very creative. And then I hear that Dritro is doing crypto, and I was like, okay, what happened? So Dritro, what happened? Why did you get into the digital world?
I think I didn't get that much into crypto as much as I fell in love with blockchain.
Yeah, okay.
Because I was always I studied filmmaking, and my primary vocation is like a filmmaker. But I was always working as a graphic designer, and then I did websites, and I was always surprised and kind of intrigued by technology. So when I started hearing about Bitcoin, about the digital currency, and all the benefits it had, I was it was strange for me, how can a currency be digital and function, because we all knew that even the best, the top technology companies get hacked, and how can a digital currency be prevented or safe from being manipulated or hacked. So then I was curious to know more, to know how it works. So I started investigating, doing research and learning about blockchain. And I was also then even more surprised by Ethereum, by this concept of smart contracts.
Yeah.
Because that for me was a big wow, because it seemed like finally we as species have a tool to make agreements which are enforceable. Because I feel like the whole problem with everything we build as society, as when we come together, is because sometimes we fail to stick to our agreements, or we get corrupted doing our own duties.
I guess it's the human nature. We always had these questions about when is people going to actually corrupt. They invent something, they create, and then shit happens.
They get greedy.
As we said, people get greedy, and it always happens unless we have some sort of a system that would actually help us to kind of keep things in check. because we have to kind of build trust. I guess people, when they started exchanging goods, and then they invented some sort of I think I read somewhere where actually people, before how banks were invented, it was interesting. People started exchanging goods, and then they started using these big papers, and instead of these papers were actually being put in a bank. And then, actually goods were being put in a bank, and the bank would give you a paper when you actually go and buy stuff with that paper. Basically, it was money, but it was just a different form. And then usually, kind of like the money is basically invented to, make it more easy for us to exchange goods and stuff, not to just, I don't know, I'm not going to give you a goat so you can give me a cow, but I just give you money and give me the cow, and then we kind of make different exchanges.
Yeah, and you use money when you need it. Maybe you don't need to buy something at a time, but so you can use it later.
I mean, and I think the digital currency is a very natural progression to our already digitalized world. Look at us. We're using technology and phones every day. I think it's quite stupid that we haven't really done this earlier, but I think it's time, and this is the time for us to kind of jump into this and kind of, get rid of at least this fucking paper money. It's crazy, man. Everybody, how many people touch the paper money?
You're trying to actually protect human health. So actually I agree, so in digital world that doesn't happen. And money is the most, I think, the second dirtiest thing, I think, after toilets and then phones. So yes, but I think beyond that, I think crypto world what offers this decentralization. I mean, banks were supposed, as you mentioned, to play the middleman and makes things easier. But then later on, they got more power, and it's more about controlling. Whereas in blockchain industry, it's not about controlling, rather helping transaction get faster, be safer. Because we know how our banks functions today, and again, initially probably they started with a good purpose, but later on, they have more control over society. The people trust less. The fees are higher, and then there is a lot of data that it gets saved, and then it could be manipulated or used for different purposes. And so I think for me, as you mentioned initially, when I started dealing with blockchain, I didn't understand blockchain initially. I was mostly in 2017 when you mentioned I was mining Burst. There was this coin, as you mentioned, I was sleeping with this server. Thankfully, it was working more with hard disk, so it didn't have this, it was not similar to the servers where you would mine Bitcoin or Ethereum. So
I think you're using them for heating also.
It didn't provide that amount of heat, so you could keep it in the room. But that time, I basically just got into a crypto world, and I was mining through 48 terabytes. I think I had a huge server. And then later on with the idea, you would sell, you make money. But then later I met Captain, and I learned more about blockchain technology, and I fell in love with the whole decentralization system. And beyond that, I fell in love with the ideology of Noshit, which Captain could explain us more. How did it start and why it got that name? Because it serves more as educational platform.
Yeah, why Noshit? I mean, I love it. It was just, how did it start?
I think the first thing that I was happy about blockchain is that it can actually cut the shit out. Yeah. So this is how I got, every time I would think and research about blockchain, I was just thinking how much shit it can spare us from, and how can we kind of use to build nice things and nice interactions and nice businesses and everything that you can do with blockchain, and just leave the shit out. So that was one of the main reasons, not just to name the coin, but this philosophy of taking no more shit when you don't need to, when it's not yours, for example. Sometimes you have to just go somewhere and then you buy a ticket, and then something happened with the agency or whatever, and you get a lot of shit. And then you're in
deep shit.
Yeah, you are in deep shit, which you never made it at the first time, but you are the one who has to deal with it. So this was kind of the philosophy behind the no shit. But as well, taking no shit from politicians, from institutions, from companies, and from everyone who basically, they exist, especially the institutions and politics and companies, they exist there to serve you. But
It is.
end,
It is in
it's
a
not
way.
that-
Fuck you
like
to the
that way.
power. Fuck you to the system. It's a bit of a. It's a bit of a challenge. Do you think they feel threatened? Do you think governments and banks feel threatened from the blockchain technology? What's
I
going
don't
on?
think they
No?
fear that much from blockchain technology as much as they fear from Noshit. Just kidding.
No,
From
I
Noshit
think-
technology.
And in this case, Bitcoin and blockchain is a challenge to the banking system, to the traditional financial institutions. It can be challenging for political systems because I think when more people become aware of how blockchain works and what can this decentralization concept bring, then it will be like very natural to seek for the existing law, the things that we already have, the legal system, to be placed on blockchain and to be kind of enforced as is. And at the same time, it might give us a platform when all the citizens can have more direct say, like to be more direct democracy instead of the existing representative one, which of course for people who are thriving in this kind of system might be a threat.
When I was talking to Besnik, Besnik joined Noshit Coin, and you guys started working together. He would constantly talk to me, like we were talking about stuff, and they were talking to me, especially about your character. I'm interested in the people character, maybe because of my profession. But there's always this thing that Besnik was telling me about you, and I also saw you, that you wanted this idea of fairness. Did this idea, like even you started these fights with customer service and people who kind of are unfair to you and they kind of piss you off, and you also had the video online which were like you're asking for fairness. What is this? This is unjust. So does this have to do with your personality of this unjust? How is this related to what you're doing right now?
I think it all has to do with this desire of not take unnecessary shit, especially shit that it's not yours to carry or to clean or to deal with it. Yeah. So I think it comes from that. But we agreed with Nick to talk good for each other, in front of other people, so I'm not surprised.
You both of you have similar personalities, because I happen to be working same with Luli and with Captain in two different projects, and I often mention how you two actually have similar personalities, where like you really fight for justice and fairness. And I had Captain, when we had issues with the phone company that they were not providing a decent internet while we were paying and like going crazy. You have the same, Luli. I remember during COVID time where like we were not allowed to go to the park, and the police would come like, no, you're not allowed to stay in the park. Like, why not? I
was just the only person in the park. Like, but it was like,
and he would climb in the tree, stay up there, and police people would be down there and waiting for him, like
to go down from the tree.
I'm a fucking 40-year-old climbing trees still, which is fucking weird.
I
so
still
of course,
do climb trees.
You still climb trees too?
Yeah.
The fuck is wrong with us?
I like to shit from like very high. I'm kidding.
You want your shit to get some air.
Regarding this, this thing to get revolted towards injustice. I remember when we with Noshit, when we started Noshit, then we wanted to implement a payment system. So there was this company, but then we wanted to get their payment system, like to implement it in our website, so people can buy cryptocurrencies directly with credit card. So then I said, okay, I want to test it first, because they sent me the customized module and we already made the payment.
Okay.
But then when I wanted to use it, I was so unsatisfied by the experience and by the customer service and by the way how the whole process went. And until it got finished, I received, half of what I paid for. Then I got very revolted. So we ended up, as a team in a very big fight with these people who we were planning to, work with them, have them as business partners.
Yeah, sure. I mean, you have to
because
test
it was against everything we kind of stood for. We want to make a platform, like we create a project which is called Noshit, and then we are making a payment system for our users who is kind of full of shit.
A lot of people looking to screw you up, a lot of people trying to make quick money, and these people really challenge whatever system, new system that we're trying to create for humans to make our life easier, there's always going to be these people that are trying to use this opportunity to gain for themselves, but fuck society, fuck the rest. And I'm really glad that you guys are doing something different. I know you guys have different, you do a lot of things with Noshit Coin, and I thought Besnik knows more. And we do have a lot of questions for you. I don't know where to start. Maybe Besnik can start with these questions.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to mention as well, as I said, one of the things that I liked actually about Noshit and consultation with the captain and with the team, like that Noshit serves as an educational platform. It's beyond just a crypto. There is the whole system that we're trying to build in a way. Would like to mention as well Checker, which is one of the tools which Captain can elaborate more on it.
So the Checker is the check your shit. You gotta check what's going on. Checker is the thing, the scanner that I saw. You
just like when you go to the doctor, you do an analysis of your shit. That's how
it's like it does an X-ray. What does the Checker do, Dritro?
The Checker scans the smart contracts, which basically smart contracts are what make cryptocurrencies work. It's like the principle of how the trades and everything works, the tax and everything within a currency. So the Checker scans this contract, its source code, and tries to identify some patterns which might be risky for people. For example, it checks whether a cryptocurrency can block the sales and allow only people to buy, because in that way people who invest, they have a feeling that the coin is going up and that their investment is growing, but when they want to sell, they cannot sell. And these are called like honeypots, because you can go in but you cannot go out. And then there are other patterns, other things on the code. For example, because when you create a cryptocurrency, you have to back it with some real money or another currency which is considered stable, or which is the main currency where your ecosystem is built. For example, a lot of tokens are in Ethereum, Noshit is in BSC, and it's like bounded with, paired with BNB, because it's from Binance, it's in the Binance Smart Chain. So in order to give value to your project, then you have to back it with real money. That's why you create liquidity, you deposit some certain amount, and that the money which is there kind of gives the value to the rest of the coins. And how much more money, if more money goes to the liquidity, like more people buy, then the price grow kind of based on that formula, like how much liquidity there is. But in order, when you create a coin, you always have this option to take off money from liquidity, and people investment will just drop. It will have no value as soon as you do that. And usually, to make people trust you, you lock the liquidity for a certain period, and then it's locked in a smart contracts, and everybody knows that you cannot touch this money. So our our Checker analyzes these smart contracts to see if they can, if they lock liquidity, or if they have other backdoors how to drain liquidity, because in these cases people will just lose money. Like these are called rug pulls, because you just pull the rug of the project. Idea is to integrate our Checker with artificial intelligence, and to use machine learnings and analyze the behavior of a lot of contracts which are online and stuff, in order to have more deeper insight. But that's on the next phase, if we kind of manage to survive this period, because it's a bit tough for our project, because the whole crypto market, it's still kind of recovering. It's still not stable, and it's not the time when projects can flourish. The idea is to have this Checker with artificial intelligence included. It also scans how many people own how much percent of, to see, it checks how many whales, like big investors, you have in the project, because they can always, one person can sell a wallet, even if it's not like selling liquidity, and then it can have a huge drop on the price. So our checker analyzes, like to find bad guys, to find shit in smart contracts.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like first part, how much did you understand?
No, I understood about the checker. No, this part I understood. Before this podcast, I told Besnik, I was like, oh, let me get prepared for this. And I started listening to a podcast, but these guys went deep. And I think I listened to like maybe I would say 25, 30 minutes of a podcast. I didn't understand a word, but I understood you. Very simple, because I know about Noshit Coin and what you guys do, and I know about the checker, so I'm quite good. I mean, let me just say 80%. Huh? Yeah, I think I understood. But I do also. There's this periods where actually cryptocurrency and digital, blockchain is kind of famous. It becomes known for people that don't really use so much. There's like some news that happens, and then people just jump in and they buy, and then there's always a bit of a drop, and then there's up. There's this kind of relies on the news and what's happening out there, and people invest. So I think, is that causing the instability in the cryptocurrency world, or what's happening?
I mean, economically and other part, Captain can explain, but I think I will explain from my point of view. I think, there should be a different point of view how people should see blockchain. Mm-hmm. It's like a new industry that is being built, and one thing that we say, blockchain industry, it is sort of a form that is replacing certain institutions, as we said, banks, or like with smart contracts, you're replacing a lot of no need for lawyers or middlemen, or like, I don't know, courts,
the idea about smart contracts, I love that.
Yeah.
That's very,
so
very
there's so many
one.
other things, but I think unless we have to change the point of view, because we cannot see cryptocurrency just as the way we view banks. It's not about I'm putting today 1,000 euros and then expecting after a month to pull and get 1,500. I think that's the mistake, and that's what causes destabilization. I think smartly it will be good that if people invest and like you wait and you leave and you let it grow. And as an industry, it needs a great stabilization. And the moment we do this trade, and then we see it and we treat it like a bank, which I think that's the mistake that people do. So
what's the future? Let's say NFT is just started. I don't know what the situation in NFT in general is, but is there something in the future that it's foreseen that, people like you and you, Besnik, people like you, Dritro, know, but I don't know, like other regular people? Is that something new that's happening with this digital world that we're not aware, that we should know and, be prepared? Yeah. Something beyond the NFT, or maybe something more that we don't really know.
I think it's hard for anyone to know more, because it's something that is still in like very early stages, because every new technology we need like more than a decade to adapt it and to know how to deal with it. And the kind of the idea behind blockchain and behind Bitcoin as a decentralized money, it's like very good, but Bitcoin is far from being decentralized at the moment, because you have people who own, you have a group of people who kind of communicate with each other, and who has the power to drop the price and to raise the price and to kind of influence medias and to influence news and rumors and everything. So that's why crypto market has these waves. But as well, it's affected by a lot of things, especially with because it's linked with the existing economy of like fiat and of real money and all the things. One of the problems is that Bitcoin and digital currencies, in order to be sustainable, like in an economic model, they have to produce something. You must have some goods related to it, and that's why when you if it becomes more adopted widely, and when you can pay more things with Bitcoin, and especially if it gets accepted everywhere where you can pay with cash, then it has more value, because you buy it and you have a use for it, and you don't have to think with it as some addition to your real money that you have, real in the sense of like banking money. But as well, now that NFTs are coming, it's creating a completely new market, which is specifically dependent on blockchain, and that might add some more value. But even the NFTs are a new thing, and they are very revolutionary because it allows digital artists to have authenticity over their art.
Yeah.
And right now there are a lot of bubbles, the same with NFT projects as well as with crypto projects. But we experienced, like same patterns of adaptation as well with the adaptation of internet. And then we had a lot of bubbles like the .com bubble, and even now you have like economical bubbles that always risk to fail the whole system.
Yeah.
But then as it goes further, as it gets adapted further, then people will know how to value the worth of NFTs. They will know like which NFTs are really worthy, which has potential, crypto projects as well. And I think it has a future in the long run because the underlying technology is how to say useful for a lot of stuff which is not related to cryptocurrencies at all. I think what is going to be next big thing is all of these things around Web3, like smart contracts, DAOs. I think DAOs, like decentralized autonomous organization, will be game changer because it will allow people to create companies, entities, where like the mediator or like the middleman is cut away and replaced by a line of code. And we live in a system where middlemans flourish. For example, all these big tech companies like Google or Facebook, they are just middlemans who manage our own data, and they are the most richest companies. And I think when we replace these mediators by lines of code written in blockchain, that will be empowering for people. And I think people will benefit from that as much as they can.
Yeah, I mean, me and Besnik started using artificial intelligence. We're using just, I don't know, Chat GPT and other stuff. It's insane. It's blowing our minds. Basically, all you have to do now, you just got to ask the right questions, what you actually need. So it's a study in itself. And if these two things get combined, it's kind of crazy. What you were talking about, decentralizing the system, and usually there's these big companies, even starting from the government, starting from these big companies such as Google. They own pretty much most of the they make most of the profit out of all the exchange that the humans do. And what I've seen, even from history, most of the wars that happen in the world is from this divide of power, divide of wealth. Super rich and super poor, and that's when the war kind of happens because people get revolutionized. We're like, oh, this is not fair. We're basically dying, and people buying yachts and shit. So this happens, and once this kind of gets into the system and becomes stable, and basically blockchain becomes stable, there is an idea that some sort of ideal world is going to kind of flourish, and hopefully this will even stop wars. I don't know, maybe that's too far-fetched, but as you've seen, we know that shit might happen, and I kind of wanted to connect that maybe Noshit is going to contribute into this shit not happening. And I wanted to thank you for coming and really basically educating me, because when you were talking, I felt like I'm actually listening to a podcast. I'm like, okay, this is some information that I need to know, and I kind of want to study more.
And especially, sorry to interrupt, and I think NFTs will interest you and many other artists. I think a lot of people talked about benefits of NFTs and giving power to artists, and because simply, each artist, when they create art, and then you're supposed to, of course, to put it onto internet, and then these middlemen or channels or platforms that are out there, you don't have control of your own art, and you don't know how many other people benefit from it. You put a song, and so many other people will use that song and put it in so many other places and benefit from it. And I think this is what happens, and how blockchain technology allows and gives people, shares the power. You get the power of your own product, of your own goods, of your own things that you are able to create.
The internet is basically recent, and if we look at this, what just happened last 20 years, in the future, maybe in 50 years or 100 years, be like, oh, that was the internet age of the wild, wild west. This is when shit was going crazy. And then it got regulated. Of course, everything was crazy in the beginning, especially the new inventions, until people kind of find out. And maybe the blockchain in the future will say, okay, this is just a crazy time when we're actually fighting. and in a way, you guys are the pioneers of this kind of world, and I kudos to you, and I really appreciate what you guys are doing. I will just be on the back here, and if I'm not completely involved, I'll just use you as advisors and ask him like, when do I, what do I do now?
And
What
this
do
is
I buy? What do I sell?
Yeah.
How do I incorporate my arts, my training into, let's say, metaverse, or then I can do trainings in this digital world, which it's coming. In a way, a side of me, which is a classical side of me, I'm like, oh, I don't know about this world. There's this small fear, but it's not so big that I will hesitate to join in. I want to learn. I want to change. And usually people who want to grow and learn and change, they kind of have to be resilient and go with times. So hopefully you guys are pioneering and opening some sort of a new world and new avenues for. Basically, Captain, give us some of a close up. Maybe you could talk to the community. Hopefully, they've been listening to until now, which is great.
They do.
I mean, you people got Netflix. They want to go and watch movies. They're forced to. They kind of have to. So maybe you can give them some sort of a closure of something. What's happening with Noshit? Some sort of like a
reviews,
boost. Yeah, review or something.
I'm a storyteller, and I see everything as a story. You buy stories, emotions. You don't buy products, or even when you want to make a business or something, you have to sell a story. Then I read the white paper. I read the complete kind of story that they're telling, and then I get an idea of the size of what they're trying to make, and it's easy to know, like it's common knowledge to know how much people approximately would you need to make this kind of thing. And then you go to the team, and then you see what people do they have in their team, and are these people for real first, and if they are, so basically you just see their website and their social media and all the social platforms where they have exposure, as if they were your friend showing you this. Would you trust them that they can do it? And usually in the first few steps that you make on some project, you have an idea, like if it's going to be shit, or bigger shit, or a smaller shit, or if it's a true project. And this is what we do when we do reviews. We go through all these things. But then we have the professor in our team, which led the development of the checker, and it's still leading. And he also he's a blockchain professor, and he does the, like analyzes the code and all the functions, and make a deeper insight of it. And then as well, general, when he's involved in the project, he was doing some reviews, and hopefully we can have him back on the reviews. And he's a seasoned investor, and he works as an investment advisor for especially for crypto industry. And he was analyzing, like the economical model of the cryptocurrency, what this division of token means, and the potential, and how much is appealing towards the crypto investors, that project.
Yeah, that sounds great. This is like making your life easier. So not every person is going to do this, but if there's someone that actually is going to do all of this for you and make it easier, it sounds perfect. That sounds great. Hopefully we can have the professor sometime soon in this podcast. Dritra, I really wanted to thank you for being part of the podcast. We'll definitely invite you again. We can talk about some other shit, and the blockchain and the cryptocurrency and this new world of what's happening, and especially I'm very interested about the artificial intelligence, what's happening now. That's exciting to me. Thank you, community, for watching. This has been Noshit Cast. Ljuli Besnik, Dritra. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Cheers.
Cheers.